And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. Holy means set apart. What makes us holy? What sets us apart? Being given these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what makes us holy, right? Because, like I said, phenotypically, all these other nations, Jacob is the form of all things. All these other nations have melanin, either sulfur-based melanin or selenium-based melanin. Anything with color has melanin. That's not any type of attribute that just makes us so great. All these other nations have a degree of wisdom. They all can cook with flavor and spices and herbs, right? But what makes us different is our ability to observe these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what makes us holy. That's what holy means, to be set up separate or set apart. And once again, in Leviticus 20 and 26, it says the Most High severed us, cut us from the nations, right? This is Leviticus 20 and 26 once again. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. Joel 2 and 27. The Most High dwells in the midst of Israel, right? Jerusalem, Yah Rashalam, Yah is city, Shalom is city of peace, right? Which was a people before it was a place. So wherever the Lord's ways are being observed, hey, the Most High is in the midst. That's where his temple is erected. That's where his altar is stationary, wherever his people are, right? Let me bring this out in 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, right? 2 Corinthians 6 and 14 is going to further expound on the point and the fact that, hey, the Most High chose us. He's a separatist from among the nations, right? He made and established his covenant with one nation, right? From Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. And we're going to get that in a second in Genesis 17 and 19, right? Galatians 4 and 22, Romans 9 and 7, right? Psalms 105 and 5 touches on it, right? 2nd Esdras 6 and 7. We're going to move around. Hebrews 8 and 8, Jeremiah 31 and 31. It speaks about him establishing that covenant with his people who are in this present time, hey, in exile, dispersed among the earth, scattered, smothered and covered, right? This is 2 Corinthians, I think I said 6 and 14. This is 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, and verse, I'm going to start with 16. And it reads, and what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. And as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Right, I quoted Joel 2 and 27. I might touch on that in a second. Reading on. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord power. And touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Let me bring this out one more time. 2 Corinthians 6 and 17 says, wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Right? We've been commanded to be separate. Right? Let me bring this out in Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Separate, set apart, holy. It's all synonymous. Right? It's just all different euphemisms for holy. Right? I said Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Hey, but a lot of our people, like I said, if there's a heaven where the so-called white man can't be co-heirs with them, they don't want to go. And on this side, you know, what they call them divestors. You know, a lot of our women, they want to curl up underneath a zaddy, a so-called white man, or any of these other heathen nations, and they look tacky as hell. A lot of them, you can see their uniform, some blue contacts or blonde hair. Even a lot of these men are out here with blonde hair. Why? Because they've been destroyed. Like it says in Proverbs 3 and 31, they envy their oppressor, and they choose his ways. Hey, when we've been commanded, like I just brought out of 2 Corinthians 6 and 17, like I brought out in Leviticus 20 and 26, we've been severed. We've been commanded to be separate, which means to be set apart. Why? Because the Most High made it that way. And hey, and I'm about to bring out a precept that really itches a lot of our people's ass, right? When they hear a so-called black, Latino, or Native American man saying that we're greater, we're better, we're not equal, we're not pushing equality, we're pushing supremacy and superiority over the nations. Not because that's what we want to teach, but that's what the Bible actually ordains, right? This is the blessing that comes with being the Lord's people, right? This is what it is to be chosen by God. Right here it is, these Jews on the other side of the earth are all in our land as bastards, illegitimate children, actually moving in this way, as though they are above. They go throughout the earth and they spread their so-called white Edomite supremacy around the earth. And our people don't have a problem with it. But when we come back into remembrance, when we bethink ourselves and stand in boldness, right? Like it says in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, then shall the righteous stand in great boldness in the face of them that oppressed him and made no account of his labor. I believe it's Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. That's when our people start having a problem, saying that we're preaching hate. But the so-called white man, he don't even have to preach it. Look at his deeds. He'll actually move and demonstrate hate, but they are homeborn slaves, like it says in the book of Jeremiah. As long as the so-called white man is above them, they don't have any complaints. But once they see the men of their nation coming back into obedience, standing in authority and in boldness, that's what itches them, right? Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6 reads, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. Above all nations that are upon the face of the earth, right? The Most High has chosen us to be a special people, right? And what makes us chosen? What makes us holy? Hey, observing these laws, statutes, and commandments that were given to us for our good, that were given to us so we can govern the earth in righteousness, that were given to us so this can be a perpetual, self-sustaining heaven, right? Because in the book of Genesis, hey, when the Most High put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, hey, that was heaven. The Most High made this earth to sustain the sons of Jacob in perpetuity, as I stated earlier. We've been given laws, statutes, and commandments, a land Sabbath, right? So we just don't rape the land of its nutrients and minerals, where we can plant herbs and fruits and all type of plants and vegetables that would rear its strength, right? By giving the land a rest, not raping it of its wealth. We've been given, how you doing? We've been given creatures that are in the water that we're not supposed to eat. Why? Because in that ecosystem, what happens when you eat all the shrimp? You eat all the lobster, all the bottom feeders that are there to keep that world clean. The sea world, the ocean world. Then you have what? Murky water. You're supposed to be able to go to a creek, a stream, a river, a lake, an ocean, and you should be able to stick your head down in that water and sip it. But now, I wouldn't dare advise anyone to do that. Why? Because the earth has been raped of those bottom feeders. Here in the earth, it's nothing more that the so-called nigger woman loves more than juicy crab. Mexicans, goddamn wetbacks in the earth. There's nothing more that they love more than what? Crab, shrimp, lobster, pork. All these abominations, right? They are not abominable, but for us to eat them, that's an abomination. That's the act that the Most High hates, because that's what an abomination is. We've been given dietary laws in the book of Leviticus, right? That we're supposed to apply wherever we are to go. Why? So the ecosystem will be clean. There are even birds that we're not supposed to eat. Land-dwelling animals that we're not supposed to eat. The pig in the same fashion as a vulture. Not supposed to eat it because those are here to keep the earth clean so that you don't have the stench of death, dead carcasses, decomposing bodies of animals permeate throughout the earth, right? Fracking. Our people were supposed to be within this society that's built upon capitalism, right? The whole rat race. Everyone hopping on the chain gang, hopping in cars that are fueled by what? Oils and gasoline. Fracking is the practice of the so-called white man going into the earth and depleting it of its oil. In a righteous society, you're not going to have fracking. You have so many alternative and alternate ways of generating power that won't pollute the air, the water, won't drain the earth of its blood, which is the oil that help those tectonic plates, that world that's inside of the earth, function properly. But with the so-called white man, right, with him being in power, like I said, if the Most High didn't come and, let me see if I can bring that out in the book of Matthew. It said, "Of no flesh be saved." I believe it's Matthew 24. No flesh shall be saved if it was up to the so-called white man. Why? Because he's anti-Christ. He's anti-Christ. He's anti-life. If the Most High sets forth the law, what is he going to do? Contrary. He's lawless. Right? Like it says in Psalms 58. The fool has said in his heart, there's no God. Right? In the book of Job, it said that he sits in the temple as God. It said that in the book of Romans as well. He thinks that he's God. He wants to be worshipped as God. So he sets forth legislation. Right? Let me see. All right, this is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 22. Right? Well, I'm going to start with 21 as it pertains to the so-called white man. Like I said, the way that he lives life is counterproductive to life itself, flourishing and thriving. If he had his way, all men would be on one side of the earth and all women would be on the other side of the earth to bring forth destruction. And the only reason he would procreate is so he'll have a servant class to continue to do his bidding. But the so-called white man has no desire in having strong families, training up children properly in righteousness, training them up in the way they should go, like it says in Proverbs 22 and 6. He's anti-Christ, so he's pro-death in his approach, in his psychology, right? He comes out of the womb speaking lies. A lie is what? The opposite of the truth. And the truth is what? That a man and a woman should obey the law, statutes, and commandments that were given to us. The truth, that's what's self-sustaining, right? Like it says in the book of John 17 and 17. Sanctify them through thy truth, thy word is truth. This is truth. Psalms 119:40, Psalms 119, 142, right? Let me get on that real quick before I jump back to Matthew 24 and 22, right? This is what the so-called white man abhors. Esau Edom, as he's known in the Bible, a red Hebrew Edomite. Yeah, he comes from the lords of Shem, right? Through Isaac and Rebekah. But he's hated of the Most High. And if you want to read why, read Romans 9 and 7. It's not because he did anything good or bad, but it's all about election, right? Psalm 119, 142, as it pertains to the truth. Let me get that real quick. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and verse 142. And it reads, Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. And the so-called white man is a lawless vagabond and a fugitive in the earth. From the days of Cain to him coming back through the regeneration is Esau Edom, right? He's lawless. He's that man of sin, written of in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. They're the man of perdition, right? It said it'll be a falling away first, us having to go into this captivity. But in this time, we see who that man of perdition, that man of destruction is, right? Look throughout the earth, right? The military arm of the revived Roman Empire. What is that? America. That man of sin. He's covetous. He's covetous. He always wants what he cannot have. He wants to extend his borders, not by just inequitable acts, but by theft and robbery, right? This is why the nations are mad, right? This is why the weak are now saying, I am strong, right? Once again, Psalms 119, 142 reads, Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Thy law is the truth. So let me jump back to Matthew 24 and 22, right? We've been given laws, statutes, and commandments to govern the earth, to have a righteous rulership. And when we come back into power, hey, the whole earth is going to go into a celebratory atmosphere every day. Even the heathen, the animals, the fish, the birds is going to break forth into celebration. Why? Because the righteous will be at the helm, govern the earth. Once again, raised as the praise of the earth, right? This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 22. I'm going to start with 21 and it reads, For then shall there be great tribulation, such as not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. For the elect's sake, the Most High is going to shorten the days. Why? Because as I stated, if the white man continues to rule, Job 9 and 24, the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. Who are the wicked written of in Malachi 1 and 3? Esau Edom. Because he's been placed in authority for us being disobedient. It said if he continues at the helm, if he stays in the driver's seat, it said no flesh shall be saved. But for the elect's sake, the Most High is going to shorten the days. He's not going to allow the so-called white man to hit that red button and destroy the whole entire earth. Right? He's going to use the wicked to destroy the wicked. Even from amongst our people, two parts therein, 2 parts written of in Zechariah 13 and 8, are going to be cut off in this place. They're going to suffer the same fate as the so-called white man. Why? Because they're not going to come into knowledge of the truth. They're not going to answer that call of repentance when it's afforded to them. They're going to treat this society like a big-ass playground until them black-ass tights get sizzled off their ass. Why? Because they want to play games. Psalms 49 and 11. What does it say in the book of Psalms? Right? Their inward thought. Right? Eve just walked by saying, Amen. Hey, you can mock, you can scoff, but when that affliction comes, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 49. And I'm going to get that in the book of Amos in a second. This is Psalms, chapter 49 and 11. This is the mind of the 2/3. Just like Eve just walked by with them black tights that our women love to wear so much. I wish I could just zap them and turn them white. You'll see all type of stains on these black tights, right? Our women have been given a dress code in Deuteronomy 22 and 5, right? They're not supposed to wear that which pertains to a man. And tights, that's bedroom clothes, that's workout clothes, right? But just imagine the stench that permeates from these tights when they take them off. And a lot of these women wear these tights with no undergarments. And hey, we're commanded to be holy. A part of them being holy in the earth is wearing that which pertains to a woman, dresses, covering themselves in modest apparel. But they say we will not. God forbid a so-called black man corrects them in boldness and tell them what they should not be wearing. Right? In the age of women's liberation, feminism, equality, women's suffrage, hey, a lot of our women have been deceived into thinking that they can be disorderly, because that's what they are. It's a righteous order that the Most High has set forth. In 1 Corinthians 11:3, the head of every man is Yahweh Shai, but the head of the woman is the man. And even if you don't have a man, you have a father that is supposed to be instructing you in righteousness. And an aspect of your instruction is adhering to a dress code. But God forbid you tell our women to put on dresses and take pants off. God forbid you tell them to cover their décolletage. God forbid you tell them to put on a head wrap. No, those are fighting words. Why? Because the so-called white man is giving them authority to make their own decisions. He's empowered them through women's lib. Right? He's emboldened them to think that they're equal or above their men in the earth. Right? And this is giving life to what? Isaiah 4. 7 women shall take hold of one man in these times. Because they're going to come to the realization that they've been deceived. They've been taught an evil lesson. They've been manipulated and hoodwinked into thinking that they're independent of a man or their men. And they're going to come back into obedience at the 11th hour, if that's the Most High's will. But to 2/3 of our women, hey, once those thermonuclear missiles hit, they're going to have on those same black tights that 99.8% of our women have in their closet, in their repertoire. You know, if you inside the house around your man, or as a single woman, if you're in the comfort of your own home, wear that. But in the sight of the nations, hey, you have a dress code that you're supposed to be adhering to. Right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 49 and 11. And it reads, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Right? This is Esau Edom being spoken of in Psalms 49 and 11, but also 2/3 of our people. Their inward thought is that their houses, America, right, being a chief house, they're going to continue forever. They think America is the exception to the rule. They think America is going to thrive unlike ancient Babylon, the Persia-Median Empire, ancient Egypt, Rome and Greece, the Greco-Roman Empire, right? They think America is just going to float on, like the song say, float, float, float on. America's not going to float on, but America is going to receive the recompense of its doing, right? As pursuant to the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, right? And I was going to bring out the book of Amos, right? As it pertains to a majority of our people. They're going to play games until the 11th hour. It said in their affliction. Let me bring that out. I believe it's Amos 5 and 21. Right? This is the mind of our people, like I brought out in Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Folly is set in great dignity. Right? Let me bring this out. Is the book of Amos. What's the scripture? It says, In their affliction, they will seek me early. Let me find that real quick. Because when the Most High turns up these different plagues and these different pestilences in the earth, that's when a lot of these people are going to start trying to metamorph into obedient children. In their affliction, they'll seek me early. Let me see if I can get it. Is it the book of Amos? Oh, Hosea. It's in the book of Hosea. There it is. Let's find it real quick. Hosea, right next door to Amos. Hosea 5:15, I believe it is. Right? The inward thought is that their houses will continue until they lose their jobs, until the stores stop being replenished with foods and goods, until the power grid gets shut down, until race wars begin and instability socially. All right, that's when they're going to start seeking the prophets and asking us questions. And it says that in Amos 8 and 11, that's going to be the famine of the word. This is why Isaiah the 55th chapter says, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Right? Seek ye the Lord in your youth. I believe it says that in the book of Ecclesiastes. Right? For the majority of our people, right, they're going to get caught up. This is Hosea 5:15, and it reads, I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. Right? The Most High Son is at the right hand of the Father. That's his place. Right? He said until they acknowledge their offense. Right? Until you acknowledge your iniquity, your sin, where you've gone off, and do your level best to not only repent, but get back right. And he said, his people, in their affliction, they're going to seek him early. They're going to know not who to call on, 2/3 of our people. In their affliction, they're going to be calling on Jesus, Allah, Jehovah. They're not going to be calling on Yahweh, the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, asking for his son Yahweh Shah to send them security and safety and succor. Right? But the Lord's elect, that election, written of in Matthew 24 and 22. Right? This is why the Most High has even cut the day short for his elect's sake. Because the elect, like it says in the book of Jeremiah, right? It said the elect are going to call on his name, and he's going to hear them, right? That's what it's all about. Being obedient to the ways of our power. Yahweh Bashin, Yahweh Shah. Like it says in the book of Romans, the 12th chapter, making our bodies a living sacrifice, right? Doing what's necessary to obtain salvation. Because, hey, the prophets of old, like I brought out in Jeremiah 28 and 8, they prophesied of wars, of pestilence, of evils, of bad times to come in the earth, right? Let me bring this down in the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Why? Because, hey, it's all written down to warn our people, to give them light and darkness, right? This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and I'm going to start with verse 1. It said, I will stand ye upon my watch, and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Right, here's the point. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Right, the prophets were also known as visionaries. Right, seers. Why? Because these men were given visions that they were to write down. And this is what gives us understanding in this present time. those prophets of old, they wrote down those visions so that in this present time, hey, it said knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy time. I believe that's Isaiah 55, right? Let me see if I can get that real quick. I don't want to roughly paraphrase it. But this is what's keeping us stable in this time, right? The word of prophecy, these visions that have been given to us in this time, right? This is Isaiah chapter 55. Is it Isaiah 66? Let me see if I get it real quick. Okay. Oh, my memory. This says, is it Isaiah 55? Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. Let's see if I can get it real quick. See if I can get it. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of our time. Let me go to the back. I'll just jump right back to it. All right? It's going to keep us stable in this time. The vision, like I brought out in the book of Habakkuk. Stability of our times. Isaiah 33:6. I had to go to the index in the back, but we're going to get it. Through the power and spirit of Yahweh Yahweh Shah. Isaiah 33 and verse 6. Bear with me. I said Isaiah 55. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33 and verse 6. And it reads, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time, right? The things that we're learning, these are things that's going to keep us stable, right? Because to not know, that's why people bug out. Just imagine if someone is confronted with a problem, someone is hemorrhaging with blood. The person that knows how to stop the bleeding, he's going to be stable. People say, that's why they say there's a doctor in the house if there's a medical emergency, because that doctor is what? He's stable. He's going to know how to provide a certain solution, right? Hey, in the Most High, his son is known as the chief physician, right? But how much more when we see problems and we already are insiders, right? It's just like on a chessboard. If you know the move before your partner makes it, you're always going to have an advantage. And that's the advantage that the Lord's elect are going to have. Right? This is what's going to keep us stable. Right? This is prophecy to say before. Right? And this is why peace comes with understanding. Peace comes with knowledge. It's going to keep us stable. Because that's what an anchor is. This is what this word is. Because a lot of these people, they're like ships without a sail, being tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. But hey, we're stable lies by the word. This is our stability, right? Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of our times, right? This is going to stabilize us in the evil, wicked times that are to come. The word that we're reading, the knowledge that we're gaining in this present time, right? This is what's gonna help us keep our wits, right? This is what's gonna give us peace, right? Let me bring this out in the book of Ephesians, the 5th chapter. Ephesians, the 5th chapter, right? Because hey, before things get better, they're gonna get worse here in Babylon. Right? The whole house of Israel is going to have to go through what Jeremiah 30:7 called Jacob's trouble, right? But the Most High, he's going to deliver his elect out of all of the said perils, right? Let me bring this out in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and I believe it's 14. This is the book of Ephesians. I'm going to start with the 5th chapter. This is Ephesians, chapter 5, and I'm going to start with verse 14. And it reads, Wherefore he said, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Yahushua shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Hey, we've been commanded, circumspect, right? Keep your head on a swivel. Make sure that your behavior, your deeds, your thoughts are in line with thus said the Lord. Repent daily, fast, pray. Right? As the scriptures say, examine thyself daily to make sure that you're doing your level best to be found pleasing in the eyes of Yahweh, whose eyes are upon the simple kingdom, taking notes of all them that do good. Be mindful, be circumspect. Because like it says in Ephesians 5:14, once again, seeing then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, right? Applied knowledge, that's what wisdom is. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil, which is a compound word, bad times, right? Because prophecy, wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, disease, all type of calamities are foretold to hit Babylon the great chief. But anywhere the Lord's people are scattered, they're going to have to make it through Jacob's trouble, written of in Jeremiah, Jeremiah 30:7, I believe it is, right? Let me bring this out in the book of Amos. This is the book of Amos, right? Because I said the eyes of the Lord are upon the simple kingdom. Let me bring that out real quick. This is the book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 10. And it reads, I'm starting with Amos 9:9, and it reads, For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in the sea. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Right? Sift Israel from among the nations, because we've been scattered. Psalms 44:11, Isaiah 11:10, Ezekiel 11:16 lets you know that we've been scattered. Right? Amos 9:9, Ezekiel 35:17. Right? Amos 9:9 is what I always bring out when referring to the scattering. Once again, for lo, I will command, I will sift the house of Israel from among all nations, like as corn is sifted in the sea. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Verse 10, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil day shall not overtake nor prevent us. Right? Hey, all the sinners of my people shall fall by the sword. That's a possessive pronoun. Amos 3. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities, sin upon sin. Right? And here in Amos 9:10, it says, all the sinners of my people. Right? Once again, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Right? That sword, it could be thermonuclear annihilation from those missiles, which are known as swords, or Esau's blessing, right? Which is the fatness of the land and ruling by the sword, right? Which could be a literal sword, which could be a modern day sword, which is his guns, which could be one of these plagues, a disease, an illness, where it said not some, but all of my people, right? Because a loving father, he's not going to get those children out there in the streets, although he has a controversy with them, like it says in 1 Peter 4:17, right? Who is he going to begin with? He's going to begin with his people, right? Look at C19. Look how many of our people got taken out of the way with that plague, right? If not the actual Rona, by whatever was in those Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson inoculations, right? We're not naive to Satan's devices. We already know that your body has a natural immune system, right? And we know how long it takes to produce an effective vaccine. But they accelerated the process to do what? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, brother.
Peace and blessings to the family. Peace and blessings.
Beautiful, brother. They accelerated that process to get everybody inoculated, to push this idea that everyone had to take forth this inoculation so that they could be covered and protected. When that was just the so-called white man, right? The father of lies. It says that in Seperate 12:10. Never trust your enemy. And we were out here the whole entire time. The scamdemic was going on. But a lot of people turned their back to us and they went to go and join the father of lies, accept whatever he was offering them to their own detriment, to their own destruction, to their own demise. Why? Because that's a form of judgment to you hard-headed niggas, Latinos, and Native Americans that don't want to adhere and get right to the warning of the prophets. We are out here for your good, right? This is a demonstration of love. If you truly understood the meaning of that action word. But a lot of our people say that we're teaching hate. So they go and join the father of lies and, like I said, sign zone, adults. They adopt and adhere to his definition of what love is, which is truly abominable. What the Most High deems is, iniquity, sin, right? Love your neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Who is your neighbor? What is love? These terms need to be broken down. Like it says in 2 Ezra 14:34. Our people need to subdue their own understanding and they need to be taught again. Like it says, I believe in the book of Mark, right? It once needs that you be taught again. You have to go back to the etymology of words. You got to go into the Hebrew, the Greek. You have to be taught properly so that you could have vision in darkness, so you won't be deceived by the master deceiver, the so-called white man, who's known in the Bible as Esau Edom, the father of lies, right? This is 1 Peter chapter 4. And I'm going to start with verse 17. I'm sorry, I'm in 2 Peter. This is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 17, and it reads, For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Right? So it says that the righteous is going to scarcely be saved. By the skin of your teeth, the righteous are going to have to go through all said perils. And it said if the righteous scarcely be saved. Right? I already brought out Matthew 24:22. The Most High is going to have to cut short the days. Why? Because like it says in Revelations 12:12, Esau Edom going to come down with great wrath. Right? Knowing he has but a short time, he's going to get to rolling on Jake wherever he's scattered. Right? It says that in the book of 2 Ezra, it's going to be an insurrection on the righteous and on them that fear God. To the point where the Most High is going to have to intervene. Right? He's going to have to actually appoint angels, cut short the time. We're going to have to, he's going to enlist help. Right? He's going to lift up a standard for us in that time. Right? But this is why, like I said in the book of Isaiah, the 55th chapter, we got to redeem the time because the days are evil. right? And in the twinkling of an eye, the Most High can change the status quo. Look at C-19, the scandemic, with the crown virus. One day people were working, the next day they were at home. One day people were walking around freely, the next day you had restricted movements, mask mandates, social distancing mandates, businesses being shut down, a scarcity of resources, all in the blinking of an eye. Hey, and that was just a test to see how people will respond. The white man specializes in the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. He does little controlled experiments to try to perfect how he's gonna enlist his next plans, how he's gonna implement them, his schemes, how he's gonna bring about his devices. He wanna see how people are gonna buck up. He wanna see if people are gonna resist his mandates, if people are gonna complain, if people are gonna outright be dissonant and reject it, or if people are gonna line up like sheep to the slaughter and accept whatever he's offering, right? And he knows that he has the majority of the people right where he wants them, And hey, they're slated for destruction, right? Let me bring this out in the book of 2nd Esdras, 16 and 18. Because in the scriptures it talks about different plagues, right? The so-called white man, he's been given inspiration from the Most High. The Most High says in Amos 3 and 7, he will do nothing, but he reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. And that's why the prophets are out, to give you understanding. Hey, a bird is not going to fall from a tree unless the Most High ordains it. Life and death, poverty and riches, health, bad health, it all comes from God, right? Even a so-called white man being given the mind to come up and conjure all these schemes to bring about bad outcomes for our people. Hey, it's all the Most High's doing, right? Satan is not operating outside of the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah, right? So like I said, even all of these plagues, this is the part of the judgment that's written up in 1 Peter 4 and 17, right? That must begin at the house of God, right? These are the plagues that are going to hit these hard-headed so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Lord's people that are scattered. These curses are going to overtake you and pursue you, right? Let me bring this out in 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, and verse 19, and it reads, Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Right? It says here, as it pertains to the house of God. I just brought that out in 1 Peter 4 and 17. It said, Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Right? This is a form of payment, a form of judgment and retribution. It said, But for all these things, they shall not turn away from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. Right? That scourge. When the Most High sent forth the plagues with this latest pandemic, the righteous are going to be mindful. They know that the Most High is moving in the earth. They become more prayerful. They become more circumspect. They become more adherent, more repentant. Right? They become mindful of the scourges. But here, it said 2/3 of the Lord's people, right? Although the Most High is bringing forth famine, plagues, tribulation, pestilence, it said they will not be mindful of the scourges. They won't be mindful that he's working in the earth. Once again, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. But for all these things, they shall not turn away from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Reading on. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they will think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Right? Like it says in the book of Amos 5 and 18. We'll get that in a second. The Most High has various, numerous, a plethora of ways to bring forth that desired income on those rebellious, hard-headed, stiff-necked children of his that don't want to get right. Like I brought out in the book of Amos, all the sinners of my people shall perish. They shall fall by the sword.